Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather.
Hi everyone, this is Emily Highfield from Soul Dusk, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have Emily Highfield of Soul Dusk. Hailing from Melbourne, Australia, Emily is a woman on a mission to bring acoustic tones of dark folk with elements of doom, atmospheric black metal, and post-rock. Soul Dusk is set to release her debut full-length album entitled Lunar Falls on April 12th via Northern Silence Productions. Soul Dusk also has released a new track, Aphasia music video as well. So we're going to be talking to her about this. So how's it going?
How are you, John? I'm good. It's lunchtime here in Melbourne.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, but it's bedtime for me. It's all good. So how's it been working with Adrenaline PR so far?
They're an amazing group. They work very hard, and I was sort of looking to have someone in the US because I've had a lot of interest in this project from the US. So I thought it would be good to have a solid team, and they were recommended to me. And I'm like super stoked and happy to have them working with me. So yeah, good.
So when you uploaded some of your music to SoundCloud a long time ago, did you think you would get the response that you did from this?
No, I did it more for my own therapeutic kind of reasons, I guess, just to get something out. And what inspired me to do that, to upload the music, was a few years ago there was a terrorist attack in France, and Eagles of Death Metal were playing. They don't do death metal, which is funny, but they're still like musicians. And when the terrorists unleashed onto these music lovers, it just, I didn't know what to do with that feeling of hopelessness, anger. I don't know. I just started writing, and I hadn't picked up my guitar for a long time, and I picked up my acoustic and I just started writing, and it was a very cheesy, very amateur-y song, but I hadn't written a song for a while. And then after I wrote that, I just felt better. And after that, I just uploaded it and got a few responses. And then I just kept going and just started to refine what I was doing. And people around the world would respond and write fantastic comments and egg on my delusions. So they were encouraging me to kind of keep going, I guess. And yeah, it was a great little community to start off feeling safe and just encouraged.
I remember that day, the date you're talking about. What a heinous act and cowardly act to do that. These folks are enjoying a concert, paid their hard-earned money and get away for a couple hours, and they can't even go to that to be safe. I mean, what the fuck, man? That's a cowardly act to me.
Yeah, there was something about, for me, just as a music lover, it's my church. I don't go to church. For me, nature and music, they're my sanctuaries.
Right.
And that's hallowed ground for me. And it was just what to do with that anger, where to direct that anger and that helplessness. And I think just music, again, just helps, especially heavy music, anything that sort of helps you, just move stuff around emotionally and physically too. And heavy music's always been there for me as well. So I just kind of had to start writing, and I think it just felt natural to do that. But yeah, horrible, horrible, horrible.
It's so crazy how music is therapeutic, and it's the best drug that you can get your hands on, honestly, in my opinion.
Yes, I think so too. When I like playing music by myself, especially if I'm feeling pretty rubbish, I'll just pick up my guitar, and it's like I'm talking to my best friend. I think music's always been, I'm very much a loner, and music's always been very much my company, and creating music's been a brilliant experience. But playing it with musicians who get you and get what you do, that's like, oh my God, that's realms. Like, yeah. it's a utter high. I think you're right there, John.
Are there any songs standing out more to you than any right now, if possible, on the new album? I know it must change every time that you listen to it, but do you have any that stand out for you, possibly?
Yes, I think the last one for me, which is Sovereign Shrines, and it starts off like a simple little acoustic ditty, and then it kind of, snowballs into this atmospheric black metal, standing on a mountaintop and declaring the state. This is it's all about retaining your sacredness, no matter what shit is thrown at you, and you're the only one that can source that goodness in you. And I think we've all got the ability. Well, a lot of us don't, but most of us do have that goodness, and no matter what you're told, to actually find that. And if you need to stand on a mountain or be somewhere epic, that's kind of the metaphor for it. But that's the feeling I wanted to convey on that. And I find playing that song is very empowering, and I hope it makes people feel that way too.
Now, you have released a new track, and I hope I pronounce this right. Aphasia, is that right, or am I wrong?
That's right. Yes, okay. Yeah. There's been, the whole album's been uploaded onto YouTube channels at the moment. So the label that I'm with, Northern Silence, they do a lot of atmospheric black metal. It's very niche-y black metal style, where they use a lot of guitar layers and quite washed out, screamy vocals or harsh vocals, and it's a particular sort of style. And Northern Silence has curated like a lot of these one man / woman. I'm the only woman on the label, I think, but these one person projects, and that the strategy of his label is to let people, it's not like a lot of major labels where they won't reveal anything, maybe a 1 or 2 tracks to the public before the release date. But he's pretty much kind of gone, nah, let's just upload all this stuff and see what response it gets, and if it boosts interest and sales. And yeah, we released everything pretty much on Black Metal Promotions yesterday. I think it was yesterday, April Fool's Day.
Oh.
So, which is it there? I don't even know what date it is in the US
actually,
at the moment.
Today is April Fool's, April 1st right now.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, he's uploaded everything, and yeah, it's there's all these releases, all the songs have been released basically, but the actual vinyl and the CDs and the digital downloads are not available yet.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this album, which one would be the first single, let alone video? And what did you want that first song to say for Soul Dusk? And especially for the ones who have not heard your music as of yet, when they heard any of this, what do you hope to get from it? I
think the message is, not the message, but the feeling is there's like an intimate feeling that I wanted to give people, like, and either they connect with it or they don't. But there's another aspect to it, which is that more epic aspect. So it's not just, using a close mic technique where I sing quite softly and then I vocalize and do the screams. And it's, I don't know, the feeling I wanted to give more than anything was a connecting, I don't know. It's hard to answer that one.
Narika Photography did the cover for the album. How was working with them on this and to actually choose which one you wanted to use?
Yes, there was a couple of photos. I was responding to a lot of photos. I was looking for illustrators, but then I kind of went, oh, these photos on Instagram. And I was fairly new to Instagram. I'd avoided that platform for a while. It was more visual to me. I was all about audio. So SoundCloud was kind of my thing, and Facebook, I guess, to a point. And then I got onto Instagram and started to see artwork and photographers, and it was all part of the aesthetic that I resonates with me, which is, again, just nature, very much a nature-oriented look and feel. And I loved what he did because he's I think Finnish. Yeah, he's Finnish. And I saw his piece, which was called Lunar Falls, actually. And I loved that look of the woman who is going into the forest and going into nature and transforming, which is what I find happens to me. I am a surfer. I'm also, I guess, a forest dweller. So I just go out in nature and bushland here in Australia. There's a lot of it. It's quite arid and dry, but it's still a world away from city pollution, too many people, all that stuff. And it's something that resonates with me and with the music. And I saw that piece and I just went, bingo, I think that's the one. And I had a few people saying to me, record people going, not Northern Silence, but another person I was going to sign with who said to me, oh, that's been done before a million times. But I don't know. I kind of thought, well, I don't care if it's been done. To me, it actually symbolises a lot of fertility and power, feminine power, and also the power of nature. And I don't know. It's got to speak to me. I can't be disingenuous and choose something that is good for PR, but something I don't connect with. So I just went, yeah, whatever, mate. I'll go with what I like.
Marc Kelson, he engineered, mixed, and produced this album. How was working with him on this?
Marc was amazing. He's always been involved in doom metal and doom of the European style rather than sort of noisy kind of experimental doom. He's got more the melodic Swallow the Sun kind of Euro doom influences in his band, The Eternal. And I had played in a band. I used to play thrash metal, which was a long time ago. But back in those days, I remember we opened up for his band, and then I found out when I was looking for a producer a couple of years ago, I realised he did production, and I straight away gravitated to him because I thought he would understand the style that I was going for, and he totally did. He was great. He's got a great sense of humour. It always helps.
Working with him on this, did he bring out something in you that no one else could possibly? Did he bring anything else special out of you on this album?
He was very much a perfectionist, which was, I guess, what I needed because I'm a big picture person. And so having someone who really is into the details is very important to balance out the big picture person. So yeah, he really made me see the importance of, really breaking things down, and my playing improved, I'll tell you that much, because he'd get me to do a lot of takes and, I would just have to do it. And there was a real work ethic there that I really admire about him. And I thought I was a hard worker, but he just took it to another level.
So how much growth musically have you seen yourself go through up to the release of this album, or has it just been more of a personal growth for you overall?
I've seen both, and musically, again, as a big picture person, when I started tracking for the album, my acoustic playing wasn't at the level that I thought it was, and there's nothing like holding a mic, playing up to a mic that makes you realize your weaknesses, and definitely have come a long way because not only with tracking the album and then playing a lot of shows, and we just finished playing. So I'd be playing my acoustic. I've been playing my acoustic in live shows up until about 2 weeks ago. We had 4 shows in a row where we're opening for international bands. We opened up for Anal Nathrak, the UK chaos metal band, and we also opened up for Zeal and Ardor as well, and Lindsay Schoolcraft as well. And it was intense. You can't hide. When you play acoustic, there's no effects. You have to create the effects with your playing. There's no pedals. It's straight up raw, organic stuff. And my playing is pretty solid now. And yeah, I've definitely come a long way in that respect. And also my vocals, like a lot of people saying, oh, we didn't know if you'd be able to do clean and harsh, because it is hard to do both without screwing your voice if you haven't been trained and you don't practice. And it's hard to be on point with both those styles. And that's definitely come a long way too. And also definitely emotionally as a person, just being a lone wolf by nature and having to rely on other musicians and sound engineers, lighting people, organisers, promoters. It's hard. You have to surrender the control and allow people to step into what they need to do. And it's good. It's good to surrender that now. I enjoy it.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you played in a thrash metal band. Are you happy with the sound that you're playing now? Are you happy with this style, the way the music is sounding, versus, say, thrash stuff like you used to play?
Yeah, I'm super stoked because it's definitely for me more intricate, and it definitely resonates with the stage of life that I'm at now. Thrash is awesome. It's very much, and I still listen to it when I work out or I need that energy hit. I love that. I'll always go back. It's metal for life, right?
Sure, yeah.
But being at a different stage of life now, a little bit more mature, and I like to think anyway, but just having a little bit more life experience. There's something about the tempo being different, mixing it up a little bit. But having said that, even though the sound is acoustically centered, and it's always going to be, that's kind of where my heart is and my soul. But going forward, and I'm actually I've picked up my beautiful PRS and plugged into a Kemper head and an orange stack, and I'm just like, this is awesome. I miss this so much. So being able to be really loud I didn't realize how much I missed it. And also having another guitarist doing the more atmospheric stuff, and I can do the more crunchy stuff. And the other guitarist, so there's 3 guitarists now, he's still doing the acoustic. So we're keeping that flavor in the live sound, but my goodness, it's sounding big.
Do you like to do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your mind fresh and open, to not get bored with it or let the music get stale? Do you do anything possibly to help you out?
Like smoke a joint or something like that? No, it's still illegal here, unfortunately. But no, I don't really. I think in creating the songs, when I'm composing, I definitely do not have a shortage of ideas. I've got like a wall of ideas, and I just don't have time. That's my big challenge, is getting stuff down, like as a demo. But in terms of mixing it up when I'm actually playing the set, yes, when we played acoustically, there was definitely room for that, and we definitely improvised a lot. And I have a cellist and a guitarist who are both classically trained, and they just love to just live on the edge on stage. They just love it. And, it's nerve-wracking and exhilarating at the same time. But in terms of now, with the bigger setup, we're staying really true to the album and the actual structure of the songs. So much as I would love to, we're kind of wanting to stay true to that because we anticipate that that's what people will be expecting when we actually take it on the road.
That was going to be my next question. What can fans expect at a show from Soul Dusk who have not got to see you guys live as of yet?
Oh, well, the acoustic sound was very much, and we'll still be bringing that back, and I will be uploading live. I'm going into a rehearsal studio with the ensemble on Saturday, and we'll be recording one of the more folky tunes, which is Three Rivers, and getting down some live audio so people can see what we have been doing. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely more kind of, what would I call it? It's like Opeth when they'd kind of go acoustically, like on Damnation. It's definitely more that style of that feel. But in going forward, as a live group, it's definitely going to be bigger and more immersive because, I mean, 3 guitars. And the boys were saying to me, we really need to get the cellist back in, and she's an amazing cellist. And I'm like, but that's like 6 people on stage. That's a lot of mouths to feed. But they're like, come on, more the merrier. And I'm caving because I think she's an awesome cellist and a lovely person as well. So why not?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
We're living in the digital era of recording albums to get music out quicker, and now we've got social media to reach out to more people who have not got to hear of Soul Dusk as of right now. Do you like this that we're living in to get music out quicker, and plus social media to reach out to more folks? I mean, it's helped you out tremendously.
Massively, John. And I was having a chat to a guy from a band called Soul, and he's like done Scottish traditional music with black metal, and I reached out to him yesterday because I said, oh look, my songs have been uploaded on YouTube and I'm getting a few trolls who are just being assholes basically, and I said, how do you deal with it, especially with metal? Metal can be really nichey and very cliquey and what's the word, like very elitist. So especially, certain snobby elements of metal, and it really gets to me, oh, that's not true black metal, that sort of thing. And Merca, who's come out and done something a bit different in black metal, she got death threats or something from these trolls. And anyway, I reached out to Andy and I said, how do you cope with these people? Because he did something different with black metal, and he said, you just got to ignore them. He said, you just picture these trolls as being, there's just sad people, sad and they feel like they just want to unleash misery. So apart from that aspect, I love social media. I love technology, and I love the ability that technology has to connect people like us right now. Mm-hmm. So it's just brilliant. I love it because when I was doing music 10 years ago, it was not like this, and it was very like snail mail and in person kind of thing. And that's like, no, it's torture. Just the idea of it, it's horrible. But now being able to upload something on SoundCloud, that was amazing. And it was reaching people from, Belarus and people in Mexico, everywhere, like it's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
Those people who give you shit, and I mean, it's happened to me too. I just take it as like, fuck them. I mean, I know you want people to like your music, and I like people like my show, but it's just not going to happen for everybody. And for the ones that say shit like it, it's like, well, it's got to be approved by them, or it's shit. It's shit. That's stupid. Yeah. If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Yeah, it's funny because I was having a bit of a vulnerable day yesterday, and I started to actually respond to some of these people because one of the tracks on the album is The Elm, and The Elm is basically an adaptation of another band's song. And I got permission to do that, and also I got a blessing from the band to do that. And it was more of a tribute for their singer who passed away. And my album is actually dedicated to her. And I just couldn't believe how these people were just saying you're a plagiarist, and they were ready to crucify me.
Jeez.
Without knowing the facts. And I just got so infuriated because I have had a long time of feeling misunderstood for a very long time as an individual, being a bit of a recluse and so on. People, it's not a nice feeling to feel like somebody's misconstrued you, and especially people that you want to connect with, which is music world and heavy music world. And so to feel like they are wrongfully accusing me of something was pretty shit. Mm-hmm. But then I just kind of went, well, they're dumbasses because they're not looking at the facts, and they haven't read the information, so they're the dumbasses. Yeah. And I've kind of let it go, and I'm not responding anymore. I responded to one maybe person, but then I just kind of went.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones who don't have a clue on what the song's about. Honestly, period. Done with it. That's it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's like you must seek to understand before you put something into the ether. Like if you put something online, it's, yes, you can go back and delete it and so on, but it still leaves a trail. Mm-hmm. So these people are just not thinking things through and projecting their own misery or some shit. I don't know what it is, but I don't really want to focus any energy on that. I've got so much other shit I need to do. so I'm not going to sit there and, they've misunderstood me, woe is me. But I did have a moment yesterday, but it was good because it made me realize what a waste of time this shit is.
And plus, where you have been so long in that cocoon in your safe place and coming out and doing your stuff, man, that's huge steps for you. And to see shit like that, it does take a little toll on you, but just get some thick skin and just realize it's your music. Don't worry about it.
That's right. And I think that's where I'm at today. And definitely I think if you're putting yourself out there, just as you do, putting together a show and you're putting yourself out there, you're basically revealing your personality and what makes you tick and all of that. There's always going to be people that are haters. It's just, it's human nature. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. It's human nature.
It's happened to me. It's happened to me. Trust me. I've had some things on my interviews of saying, where did this hit come from? Where did they find them in a holler somewhere? And I'm like, damn right. You don't like it? Don't listen. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, you can't make everyone happy. And really, I mean,
exactly.
Who cares?
In your own opinion, what does Soul Dusk bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now? I mean, I know you guys are not reinventing the wheel, but you may be bringing some fresher stuff to that wheel. But what do you bring?
I think what I like to think is it's definitely for more kind of mature metalheads. It's not all balls to the wall kind of sound where it's definitely more music that you can actually have in the background, but it's still that feeling of, for people that are into black metal or into doom or into more atmospheric, darker stuff, it's definitely something for them. But the big difference, I think, is the vocals. A lot of that style doesn't have vocals, number one, and female vocals, number two. And that's something that I always wanted. As a vocalist, I've always kind of thought, why aren't there more women doing this kind of thing? I don't understand. I could never understand it. And I just kind of, people say, oh, you sound like Chelsea Wolfe, or you sound like Merca or Sylvain. There's only very few women doing this style of music. And because there's not many references, I get lumped with a lot of these other fantastic performers and composers. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you can't really compare me to anyone else because these are the only women doing this sort of thing. But yeah, what I offer, which is a little bit different, is my sound is very much guitar focused, and that's what I definitely want to bring the next album, is pretty much less vocals and more instrumental, and definitely use the vocals more as an instrument rather than as the main focus. I think Marc, the producer, really wanted to emphasize the vocals, and it quite turned up And, you know, it's you either love it or hate it. But for me, for the next one, definitely have the vocals sitting back a bit more and more harsh vocals and that sort of thing, more guitars, I think. But that's the difference, I think.
So what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
I think when I was in a choir and I got chosen with big kids and I was a little kid and I sang in a 3-part harmony and I just got goosebumps. I just got chills as a kid. I just went, whoa, what is this feeling, right? And then it just becomes addictive. After that, you just kind of go, I want to chase that feeling. And it's like you were saying about the drugs. You know, there is no greater feeling for me. And I went off and I studied and, you know, tried to become a straight person, corporate person, as you do, like just to try and make some bucks. Yeah. And it was not for me, even though I could play that game very easily. I just thought, this is destroying my soul. I was always doing music though, always playing music in some incarnation, but never really sort of focusing on thinking maybe I've got something to offer, you know, maybe there's something here that I can still do. And it kind of evolved. It wasn't when I started putting stuff on SoundCloud, I did not think I'd end up doing, you know, releasing a full studio album and having people around the world, you know, connecting with it. You know, it's definitely a niche area. It's not something I expect, you know, even my family and, well, what limited friends I have, you know, they're not even into this style of music at all, but they kind of understand that this is something that I'm compelled to do. Other people are into, you know, whatever, but for me it's like I'm a sound hound. I just find sounds exhilarating and it's just life for me. So that's kind of what made me want to be a musician. That's the place I want to be most of the time, just either doing music, talking about it, and connecting with others over it. So that's the best thing.
How much local support does Soul Dusk get via venues and airplay as of right now, if any?
Melbourne's considered one of the capitals of the music world. Did you know that, John?
Not from over here in the U.S.
What's that?
No, not from over here in the U.S. No, I didn't know. I did not know that.
Yeah, apparently that, you know, the Melbourne municipality here has been blowing its trumpet saying, oh, we've been voted the #1 music capital of the world, apparently, because there's gigs here every night and there's a lot of the musicians around Australia always come to Melbourne. And so I have definitely found that. I definitely found when we started playing, I didn't know many people. You know, I was emerging out of my little shell, but slowly I became familiar with a lot of people who saw what I did. And then I did have one champion who was in a black metal band, and he's like, why don't you open for us? And my little acoustic ensemble opened up for his band, so we had a few people taking interest in what we did and writing a review, and then it kind of snowballs after that. And before we know it, I've had the promoter bringing Zeal and Ardor out, texting me saying, oh, do you want to open for them? And I'm like, it's gone from opening for local metal bands to opening for international metal bands. So I'm totally stoked, and I think the reviews have been great. The people that are attending the show, the radio promoters have been playing the song. It's not strict metal though, and that's what's so awesome is it doesn't fit into the typical. It's not your typical genre, you know. It's not death metal. It's not thrash metal. It's not power metal. It's more atmospheric and definitely not as heavy in some respects, definitely not in the traditional sense. But people are opening their minds to it, and it's absolutely awesome. I do feel a lot of goodwill. You know, we're looking for a bass player at the moment, and I think I had an ad up on the local Facebook thing saying, oh, you know, we're looking for someone to help us out with bass. And I think I had it up there for 24 hours. I had so much interest, and I went, oh, that's like a testament to the fact that there's goodwill for this project. People are excited and encouraging, And yeah, it's very heartening. I'm like, actually,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I'm like, it's great because I'm not expecting, like I was saying, I'm not expecting it's not one of those massive projects, but it definitely takes a hold. If people like it, they really like it.
Right.
That's what's exciting.
Is there a country that stands out or even shocks you that Soul Dusk gets support from, or the music even gets played in that country?
Yeah, I had someone from Poland who played it, and he's like, oh, people went nuts for this, and they want more. And he sent me a message, and I went, oh, that's cool. And yeah, I get messages from Russia seems to be another standout, and Romania as well. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But the US is solid. I'm getting a lot of orders for the album through the US, and after Australia, it's definitely up there. So my hope, my heart's desire would be to head over there next year. There's a festival called Fire in the Mountains, and that's in the Grand Tetons, I think they're called, like Wyoming, around there.
Uh-huh.
And they have this like very black metal-y gathering, and it's pretty much the go-to for my style of music. So I would be stoked to get to play there next year. Be great.
That'd be awesome. Hell yeah. Is there a band on your bucket list that you would like to work with, or maybe tour with, or even maybe do an album split with?
Wow. That's a fantastic question.
Ah.
I've never thought about it. Wow, who are my idols? Well, there's a band called Agalloch who no longer exists, so that kind of kills that. And they had a terrible breakup. That was like a terrible marriage gone wrong. The two major songwriters hate each other now, and they've both gone off and done separate projects. But they would have been my number one without question. But yeah, they don't exist anymore. But bucket list. Ooh, someone I'd love to work with. Probably there's a band called Alcest, and they're French, and they play a lot of post-metal, like black gazy kind of, which is like black metal and shoegaze together, like a lot of guitars and bit of screaming in there. It's great. I love what they do. And I think there's an overlap with what I do and what they do. So, yeah, put it out there. For sure.
Soul Dusk is set to release her debut full-length album entitled Lunar Falls on April 12th via Northern Silence Productions. Get out and pick up this album. Emily, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise, tour dates when you go on tour, things like that. How can they do that?
That's all done through Facebook or Instagram and Bandcamp as well. So the album will be streamed on Spotify as well. So really all you need to do is just Google Soul Dusk and all that stuff will come up.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
I would love to. Hi everyone, this is Emily Highfield from Soul Dusk, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, plus it has our YouTube link, and possibly soon a Twitch link. Also, get out and check out Soul Dusk. And remember, folks, they're set to release their full-length album entitled Lunar Falls on April 12th on Northern Silence Productions. Get out and check them out. You will not be disappointed. Emily, thank you, and the best of luck to you guys.
Thanks so much, John. I really appreciate it.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.